Okay, so this vlog is gonna be about where we want to go around Halloween, and we're looking to go somewhere that is really gonna scare the shit out of us. So, came across this website called ctboom.com. It's got quite a few places that look interesting, like this Union Cemetery, so famously haunted that Ed and Lorraine have even published a book called Graveyard to describe the hauntings from Animal Ghost to the famed White Lady. This easily tops the list of the most haunted stops in Connecticut. Sounds pretty interesting. There's just quite a few comments underneath recommending quite a few places. So, let's see what's next. We got Dudleytown, the famous Dudleytown. I've heard a lot about Dudleytown. Apparently, a lot of people have been there, can't find their way out. It's also known as the Village of the Damned. Dudleytown comes in close second. This area is actually considered one of the most haunted places in the entire world. Tales of demons and possessed souls still haunt this area. Shit sounds pretty crazy to me. A lot of comments to vouch for this place. Number 3. Remington Arms, Bridgeport. An abandoned factory in Bridgeport has a dark history with deadly reputation of mutants, bodies melting, and ammunition exploding. Whew. Yeah, that would, sounds interesting. Definitely would, scare the shit out of me. Number 4. Fairfield Hills State Hospital, Newington, called a warehouse for the insane. Before this hospital for the mentally insane closed in the 70s, there were tales of patient abuse and suicide, but now it's all the satanic cults that have found their way there. Also, another place I would try to go to. And just to let you know, guys, whichever your place, me and the few people that I've selected to go with me, go. We're gonna record, and you guys will be the first to see. Number 5. Seaside Sanitarium, Waterford. Filled with visions of orbs, this facility has been everything from a home for the elderly to the place from children, which is actually why it was built in the 1930s. Although slated to be demolished, it still stands for filled with those ghosts. Hmm. Number 6. Norwich State Hospital, Preston. Shadows lurk, reports moaning, and terrible things that have been seen in the autopsy room. Norwich State Hospital has even been featured on the Sifty network. Number 7. Barrahack, Pomfret. The spirits of a bearded man and a young child haunt a private old cemetery area. They have been reported of sounds of livestock and singing in the area, which dates back of families that settled there in the 1780s. Number 8. Little People's Village, Middlebury. The story differs from person to person, but ultimately a man created a town made of little houses for those voices of little people he heard in his head. In some stories he lived alone, and the voices drove him insane. In other stories he lived with his wife, who he murdered. The ghost of the little people he created and his mind still haunt the area. This one sounds very interesting. This one that might actually be in my top 5. Number 9. New London Ledge Lighthouse. Meet Ernie. He's the ghost that hangs out at the lighthouse. He is thought to be the lighthouse keeper. Before the lighthouse became automated, a note was found on the last night before the automation took over saying, Rock of the slow torture, Ernie's domain, hell on earth, made New London Ledge's light shine on forever because I'm through. I will watch it from afar while drinking the brew. Number 10. Guntown Cemetery, Naugatuck. Children laughter in the cemetery. Yes, that's what you may find in this cemetery. The burial place for many people who supported independence from Britain during Revolutionary War. This place is filled with ghosts. There have also been people that have seen a solid black dog, even when their partner has not, that has symbolized death for them. Yeah, this doesn't sound like a place I would be interested in going to. But Guntown Cemetery, Naugatuck. If you think you're brolic enough, by all means, try it. Number 11. Hannah Cranna Grave, Trumbull, Monroe border. Known as the Wicked Witch of Monroe, Hannah Cranna has considered a witch that may have killed her husband. She has known to cast spells on neighbors, and it is said that her normal-looking grave is haunted by her ghost. Legend says that she insisted that she told someone that she would die in a few days, and to make sure her coffin was carried by foot, not by wagon. When they tried to load the coffin on the wagon, it kept falling off. They honored her request to be carried, but when they returned to her home from the grave, her home was up in flames. Number 12. Penfield Reef Lighthouse, Fairfield. The lightkeeper drowned on duty a few days before Christmas, about 100 years ago. His name was Frederick Jordan. The incident was recorded in a journal, and his image is on display in the lighthouse. His ghost has been seen many times, but it wasn't until 1942 that he really showed himself. 2 boys were saved from drowning by a man. They went to the lighthouse to thank him, and they didn't find the man, but recognized him from the image. Number 13. Phelps Mansion, Stratford. Number 14. Mansfield Training Schoolhouse. Number 15. Poly Palace Majestic Theater and Savory Hotel, Bridgeport. I got a little video on this one. Let's see it.
Thinking about voting coming up very soon. You should really put your leaders to task about some of the historic buildings downtown. Now, you may not know about it, but there's a theater called the Majestic Theater that should be preserved. Anybody, as far as what many historians say, this is a gem. It should be saved and preserved, and they say that the economic benefits of historic preservation are underappreciated. Take a look at these images. Now, Charles, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Majestic Theater?
Well, this theater came from a very small instant in American history when movies suddenly were very big. And there were people who wanted to turn this into a movement to create palaces for the American public where they could enjoy these films. And the greatest movie palaces ever built anywhere in the world were built in America in the first half of the 1920s, and they were almost all designed by an architect named Thomas Lamb, who was a great genius. He could take Venetian palaces, Florentine architecture, the greatest classical architecture that the world had ever seen, and translate them into these movie palaces. And the Polite Palace and Majestic Theaters in Bridgeport were built at the absolute pinnacle of that movement. There's something that could never be replaced.
Pretty interesting. Let's see, number 16. Sterling Opera House, Derby. While many places on this list are heavily monitored by police, no trespassing signs, and shown their history, Sterling Opera House embraces it. Doors randomly closing, lights shutting off and on, and photos of capturing orbs. The Opera House is well known to be filled with spirits. That's somewhere I'd be interested in going. And the top 5. How far is Derby from here?
Where?
Derby.
Maybe 45 minutes.
My wife says Derby is only about 45 minutes from here, but that's the case. If this place is interesting enough, we might be heading to Derby to check out the Sterling Opera House. Number 17, the Yankee Peddler in Torrington. Want to stay in a haunted hotel? Visit this inn. Stay in room 353, the room where the original owner died, and read reviews about what wing visitors have experienced while staying at this hotel. Number 18, Downs Road, Hamden. The haunted street, yes, reporters of demonic children, strange inbred creatures, and monsters. All things that people have reported seeing over the year on the street. Looks pretty nuts. Let's see if we can find a picture. Or there's a picture. But let's see if we can find. No, maybe that's not a picture. But let's see if we can find a video. Downs Road, Hamden.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
So this is Downs Road, Hamden.
It's an old well.
So yeah, that looks pretty interesting. Let's get back to our top 20 haunted places in Connecticut. Number 19. Hooksman Cemetery, Seymour. So, a couple years ago, we went to the cemetery. It was off of 3-4 dirt roads. But, didn't think we were going to find it. But we did end up finding it. It definitely was a weird feeling walking around that cemetery. Did feel like people were breathing down your neck. And I also took quite a few pictures where I caught orbs in the picture. One of the pictures that I took, I made a little announcement and I said in the cemetery if there was anything here to come out now. And then I snapped the picture. The picture that I snapped had a ton of white orbs in it and had a red one sitting in the middle of all the white orbs. So, that did not look like a good sign. It's definitely something evil in that cemetery. I would definitely think about going back. It was a cool experience. Number 20. Midnight Mary's Grave, New Haven. Located in New Haven, Evergreen Cemetery, this grave is considered to be occupied by the Midnight Mary. Her tomb reads, "The people shall be troubled at midnight as and pass away." Legends say that she was a witch and buried alive. When they dug the grave to see if it was true, she was certainly dead, but it looked as though she tried to claw her way out. Many have reported hearing a female screaming near the site. So yeah, that's the top 20 for Connecticut. I'm sure there's a hell of a lot more, but these seem to be the most visited and have the most reviews as far as people actually seeing stuff. So we'll see, guys. But I'd like to see the viewers comment below and subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff like this and a lot more random vlogging to come along. Have a good night, guys, and enjoy.